So some big hurdles ahead for the new Prime Minister. Let's take a closer look at what Johnson's leadership could mean for the UK's economy. I'm joined by Daniel Lacalle, Chief Economist at Tressis SV. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Rachel.
So as we know, new British Prime Minister, same uncertainty though awaiting him, along with murmurs of an economic recession. What sort of economy is Boris Johnson inheriting?
Boris Johnson is inheriting an economy that is certainly under the umbrella of a very big change in terms of the perception of business and how the export-driven economy and service-driven economy is going to be facing the challenge of Brexit. So uncertainty is the name of the game. And we have seen estimates of growth in the UK economy being trimmed a little bit. However, it is also true that the IMF recently updated its estimates of the UK economy. So on one side, what we have seen is that the doomsday scenario that was presented about an economy that was going to move into recession did not happen. Unemployment is at a 75-year low. Inflation is under control. Growth is not particularly high, but neither is that of the European Union.
Right.
And at the same time, a very big challenge because we still don't know what type of Brexit the economy is going to deal with.
Now, let's look at the options on the table, because a lot of people are wondering, is any Brexit deal really a reality, given the EU's repeated stance on not renegotiating the current deal? What options does Boris Johnson have on the table right now?
I think that we can see three options, I would say. The first one would be a no-deal Brexit. We'll reach the 31st of October, and the European Union has not agreed to change some of the key factors that were contested of the previous deal, and we go into uncharted territory, a no-deal Brexit in which all of the agreements with the European Union would fall under the World Trade Organization rules, and obviously a much more complicated bureaucratic process for exporters, etc. That would be I would say, the least likely, but also the most dangerous solution. The second one would be a change in the stance of the European Union, in which some of the key aspects, the backstop, the amounts that should be paid in order to continue to have the agreements in place, sort of a tweaked deal, that is actually something that I think is quite likely. The European Union is not an entity that has proven to be completely obsessed about not making any change. Right. In the past, with Greece, with Spain and other countries. So that is an option. The third option would be no Brexit whatsoever and a new vote. I think that is very unlikely.
Now, we know that British manufacturers have suffered the steepest declines in domestic and export orders since the financial crisis. What sort of government support or preparations are in place in the event of a no-deal Brexit?
Well, I think that is the key, one of the key elements, key pillars of what the Boris Johnson administration will have to implement, which is preparing the economy for the possibility, unlikely but existing, of a no-deal Brexit. What should the government do? First, start to put in place very strict formulas of the bureaucratic administrative process at the borders, etc., to be as smooth as possible with the main partners, trading partners that are obviously going to suffer. Secondly, start to reach bilateral agreements with other economies, not just the European Union. So start to reach strong preliminary bilateral agreements that would offset some of the impact maybe if there was a no-deal Brexit with the European Union. And third, I think that obviously the economic plan that Boris Johnson is presenting is very much aimed at securing that the British economy strengthens into an uncertain scenario with a big spending spending plan in terms of infrastructure added to a very significant tax cut scheme that would attract investment and bring capital into the economy.
And just very quickly, in Johnson's campaign to become Prime Minister, we heard a lot of optimism and the focus to deliver Brexit, unite the country and defeat opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn. Which of those do you think will be the biggest hurdle to overcome?
Deliver Brexit, obviously. He has a very thin majority. The Conservative Party is divided, and the Parliament is divided. The Parliament is divided for not just for those that defend hard Brexit. It's very much divided as well for those that defend a new referendum, what they call a people's vote. So I would say it is not a very simple solution for anybody. I think that the biggest challenge is on the Brexit side, given how fragmented the parliament is, not just between the majorities and the number of seats that each of the parties have, but within the fractions of those parties themselves.
All right, thank you so much. Daniel Lacalle, Chief Economist at Tressis SV.